Hello, and welcome for episode 7 of the Ranch Roleplay podcast. By now, you should know me. I hope so, but in case that there are new people here, I am Use Gaming. I play Rainier Falgoff, the current mayor of Valentine and the owner of the Crab Shack down in Blackwater. With me, I was about to say trusty sidekick, but it's not really a sidekick because he is the 99% of the whole thing we're doing right now. The looks, the brains, the everything. He got it all. Everybody's favorite, Dip. Introduce yourself.
I'm Dip. I played Douglas, who's a farmer, and I once got banned by Golden for crashing the server 3 times.
Yeah.
And we're doing this podcast. I need to figure out a better way to say this because it starts to feel repetitive. But we want to learn. That's why we're here. And we want to give everybody a chance to learn as well. Whether that being things that you can directly use in-game, or if it's just, questions or things you wonder about how the server works, how the different teams work. And today it's about one of the things I definitely don't understand. The development. And with us we have 2 smart guys that can introduce themselves.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm Golden. Hello, I play Austin Wallace, the notorious gang leader from Shaded Bear, aka Fort Wallace.
Oh, wow.
Fort Wallace. That's right.
Do a little bit of developments and stuff. This is Leo.
A little bit.
Hello.
Bit. Yeah.
All right. My name's Leo. I role play as Lorenzo Gambino, so the big banker getting into all sorts of mischief. I also role play as a myriad of other characters that get killed off. One life characters, really.
Pigman.
Other than that, yeah, Pigman, Roy Burger, Ace Wallace, Austin Wallace's brother. All of them are dead now. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I also do development with Golden. We kind of brought up Ranch Roleplay from a baby. So yeah, hello.
And before anyone goes, in case somebody watches this back or goes to YouTube and watches it, and they go, "Where is Cal?" Okay, people go, "Where is Cal? Why is Cal not here?" Cal couldn't make it today. This is a public service announcement. Cal couldn't make it today. Okay, he said he's got plans. I think he said something about Thanksgiving, preparing for that, or go visiting his family.
He's too good for us. Guess what?
Yeah,
those Americans.
Yeah.
Pesky Americans.
That's why Cal's not here. Okay, we did reach out for Cal, and Cal couldn't make it. Okay, but let's get into it. Coding, the whole dev part. All right. How if equal something. No, we're not gonna do that again. It's only me that finds that joke funny. So what's the main difference between you guys? Right, that's what I want to know. What is the difference between you guys? Like, what do you like? How in like when it comes to coding terms, you got front end, you got back end.
Convince us you're not the same person. This one.
Yeah, who's the nerd in the background that does all the cool shit, and then who's the pretty one in the front end?
To be honest, right, we split a lot of our workload. Golden does a lot of like cool ideas. Like he'll program the full poker script by himself. Like he's good at sitting down and just fucking getting on with it, basically. And I'll do the more quality of life things that really are needed. Also do some of the bigger systems as well.
Like getting a horse to lay down.
Getting a horse to go to bed. God, what else did I do?
Seed yields.
Yeah, seed yields. I've got the culling markers. No, but really, I look more into the, how would you say, the security of the server, the health side of it. Golden does that as well. He helps out, but yeah, I'll let Golden refute that or.
Yeah, no, Lau does a lot of the anti-cheating stuff, and yeah, 100%.
The anti-cheating.
I ain't really touched that too much, to be honest.
Is that why all
Yeah.
staff has to have that? We were told to get that all that security stuff done. You can't be staff if you don't have that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Leo
it is
Hound and us
essential.
for it. Yeah. No. I get it. I get it.
I mean, the issue with that, right, is at the start it wasn't needed because we weren't really that big. I mean, we were kind of big at the start, but as soon as you have so much data on people,
Yeah.
The concern of that being leaked out through a breached account is just too high. So
Yeah.
that's why we kind of enforce that for staff.
Of course. All right. What about the when it comes to like development? Okay, because I'm curious about it. I'm so curious, but I'm gonna be asking so many dumb questions. Okay, because I have no idea how things work. All right. Did we actually show them that? You remember? Okay, I'm gonna ask some vague questions here for Colvin. You remember that time when Dan was filming a video not long ago down next to the Crab Shack where Porter and Bobby were supposed to be sitting at the table doing something?
All right.
Yeah?
Chess, yeah.
Chess. All right. Well, you said it now, not me. Well, how's that? How? Do you go in and like sit there and have to like code every single command? Like this, I don't know what it's called. A horse can jump 1, 2, and to the side. Like, or do you find like a chess script
I'll walk
or
you through it.
what?
So obviously, first of all, you got to think about what you want to be able to do, and what do you want to be able to click the pieces like in the actual world and drag them wherever, as if you're like in VR or something,
Yeah.
or do you want to keep the rules of chess? That depends on which way you want to go about that. Do you want to let them move anywhere and just have the IC rules and say that's an illegal move, and role play that out?
Yeah. So you can like pull up your gun and say you cheated. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Like,
Yeah, that one.
depends
Well,
what you
that's
want.
also easier, right, for you to code at the end of the day.
There are libraries for like the rules of chess, so I haven't got to
thank
write
God.
all the rules myself.
But
So-
you're pretty good. You're a pretty good chess player. I mean, I'm a solid chess player. Okay, I'm pretty good, and Golden always beats me. I just gotta put that out there.
I'm not good at chess.
And that always beat Golden.
Absolutely not.
The pecking order. I know how the pieces move, and that's it.
But once you've got it figured out, what you want to do, what you want to make, you'll start with the UI, and you won't even be in the game at this point. You'll just be coding the UI separately, which you can view in your web browser. You'll be putting in like dummy data, like assuming the data that's going to come from the server, the other player, their pieces, where they are, and then, you'll have functions in there that get called when they update the data, and you can you can pretend you've got all that data in the browser, and then you just move it to the server and put the data in and do all your animations and other stuff you need to do.
Yeah, it make it sound so easy.
Yeah, it sounds so much easier. I noticed that you guys not long ago you guys posted up saying that you've opened up for devs. You know what I mean? How to that you could apply to become part of the dev team. So give us a little bit of what are you guys looking for? You looking for people that are willing to learn, or do you have to have like an extensive knowledge of Lua, Java, C++, or whatever all this shit is called? How do you get on board with you guys, with you two and Cal?
Yeah, I'll answer this one. Essentially, you're right in saying that we're looking for people that already know how to code. Like, not to be ignorant of people that can't, but we just don't have time to sit and teach people how to do the very basics of programming. And I mean, people can still program outside of RedM and 5M. They could be amazing programmers, but if they don't know the framework, or if they don't really know 5M or RedM, then that's also a huge stepping stone of learning the framework and knowing what to do.
What is the framework that we use here?
So it's the CFX framework, or essentially how 5M and Red M work. Obviously, they're made by CFX, which is, you know, the company behind the mod of Red M and 5M.
Yeah.
So they've obviously built this multiplayer mod, and there's very specific functions and paradigms that need to be used in Red M and 5M to successfully make a server.
So what about the language?
It's Lua,
Like,
yeah, for
It's
everything.
Lua, right?
Not just, you can use C# too.
Yeah,
I reckon
But we
it's
use
Lua.
Lua. We use
Yeah, you
Lua
can-
here,
yeah, we use Lua. You can mix and mix languages up. Like we have Lua. We could add C# resources if we wanted to. We have the kind of front end and back end frameworks for like the UI that we see.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the main ones. But we also ask of developers to at least have an understanding of, say, C++, because a lot of our research into new scripts come from looking at the decompiled code for Red Dead Redemption. So there's a repo out there. A repo is a repository. I'll try and talk in kind of more understandable terms.
Yes, please.
There's basically the decompiled or code of Red Dead Redemption 2 that we can see. So we can see how, for example, Arthur Morgan dances in Valentine. We can see like the intricacies behind that. And a lot of research comes from looking at that code and bringing it over to be compatible with Red M.
Yeah, you've
Um,
experienced this use when you try to use the animations.
Oh yeah. But so I gotta ask another dumbass question here. So what is QB core? I remember that's a term that was in like 5M. Is that a thing in Red M?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between public frameworks and custom frameworks. So QB core is simply, or QB core, you've got Red MRP, there's a whole other ones that are public. So
Yeah.
anyone like you, Jisk, or Dip, or anyone in this chat can download this predefined framework that someone's already made and just launch a server immediately.
Oh really?
Yeah, so they don't need to do any coding. They can just throw up a server. The downside to that is everyone is using that one. Like if it's public, there's going to be 100 servers using it. So you're not going to be unique. You're not going to have access or the knowledge to change things or whatever. So I think most Red M servers use these public scripts essentially.
Okay,
There's
so
maybe
it's a
like
script. It's not a
three or four
language.
of us. Yeah. It's
Okay.
just a framework.
So
within Red M.
Lua, Java, C++, all that's language, and QB core is a script.
Yeah, that's where
Pretty
we're at.
much.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where I
should probably have preface. Yeah, no, but that's okay. I tried when I was on vacation. I had some downtime, and I DM'd Cal, and I was like, "All right, got 2 weeks to teach me how to code in Lua."
Yeah. Take longer than that,
Oh, you remember
It-
what this reminds me of, Golden? That ticket?
Yeah.
Let's just say that it took me about those 2 weeks to just kind of understand what it was he was saying,
Oh, yeah.
and now I don't know what to do with it. But
Yeah, it's a long journey to learn how to
it
program.
is.
It
is.
It's not something that you could maybe pick up in 2 weeks.
No. But because I remember speaking to Golden some time ago, and I think we also on the very first podcast episode we also spoke about it a little bit. Like we're talking about how you guys got into it. And Golden, you said, I can't remember, you picked this up, but you were like, you're just a young kid, 12, 13-year-old.
Editing other
Yeah,
people's
just-
code and just editing variables, like changing the names so that it was quote unquote mine, just edit it a bit.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I
you
used to do
start
that in Minecraft.
looking at it so much, you start realizing what's doing what, and you slowly learn.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. So what?
Yeah, I think the real art is to be able to explain it to someone like us that
Yeah.
doesn't know what it means.
That's the thing with teaching
that's
it.
a whole profession in itself.
Yeah,
It's just
like
all,
if you can
commands.
explain
It's all logic essentially. You know, you say it's the whole script. It goes. You imagine it goes from the top to the bottom. When it reaches the bottom, the script's finished and it will close out. And you have all these commands, and it's all logic. So you have if statements, and if it's true, then it will go into that block. If it's not, it will skip past it or go into another block. You know, you might do some code that repeats itself until a condition's met, and that's coding. That's
Yeah,
all it
that's
is.
that's the
all you're
basics.
doing, all you're doing is telling a computer what to do.
Yeah,
That is essentially it.
You gotta make it
programming
sound
language
very
is just
easy.
how you tell that computer. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I get it. I get it. But you know, if you don't, you know, it's one thing to apply logic to something that you understand, but applying logic to something you don't understand, because you know it is not logical to you if you don't understand what you're actually doing at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you got
Like-
in the language and the syntax. and-
Yeah. If triggers poop, gonna go bang. Exactly.
Essentially.
Yeah. So, what are some of the like? What are some of the? Because I know that I was talking to Golden some time ago. I think like a week or two ago, and we were talking about how the script, like you can't just if you guys were to sell a script, a ranch roleplay script, you can't just sell a part of it. Golden was like, no, you can't, mate, because they're all like dependent on each other. You can't just take out one piece because it wouldn't work on its own. Did you guys do that on purpose?
Not really. It's just because we've made it bespoke for what we need. And while we have, you know, separated resources, you know, we have the item framework, we have the character framework and outfits, blah, blah, blah. It does all rely on each other. Like, you can't have the character framework without having the core, and you can't have the item framework without having the characters to put them on or the inventories to put them in, you know?
Yeah. No, it was just if it was like a
No, it wasn't
it was a-
purposeful. It was just made bespoke.
It
for
just
us. We
happens,
never
right?
in-
I mean,
we never
you make
intended or gonna sell it.
what you gain from mining, and then we have all the scripts that's connected to gunsmithing, all and blacksmithing and whatnot that use the same things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll chime into that as well. Like, Golden's right that a lot of these systems, like the core systems, really do tie into one another. But I mean, we do have resources that we don't necessarily need to use outside of its own resource. Unless, for example, we're calling,
Could you give us
say,
an
like the core
example
framework
to
to pay
that so we
someone.
understand a little bit better?
Like the black market script, although that does call like sort of the items framework, so you can buy
Yeah.
and sell stuff. But the resource of actually walking up to the guy and talking to him and doing his quests, I mean that's all contained within that
Yeah.
resource.
Yeah, it's not used anywhere else.
Yeah.
Or the gold panning script. The only thing that the gold panning script's connected to is to pay people gold nuggets.
Oh.
Like, but that just calls the other resource and it says, "Hey, I'm finished gold panning. Give me a nugget."
Right. What about some percentages in that? Can we get some of that? Are you willing to drop that knowledge?
Of what? Sorry.
What's the percentages
Percentages?
for a gold nugget each time you press that space bar? What's the
Oh, like
probability?
the RNG.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's variable. I think it's it just depends. I've not looked at the code in quite a while. But yeah.
So it's not like
Can't
there's
get
a
no
30
leaks, mate. No leaks.
33 no leaks.
No leaks, no leaks, nothing.
Work it out.
Yeah, work it out. Do 1,000.
Do 100. Yeah, do
Yeah.
1,000, then see how many you get, and then there you go. There's your
Yeah,
percentage.
you couldn't sell them to me, right?
No.
I experienced the exact same thing with this because there is concerns that you guys have in terms of security that affects scripts in a way that I had no idea. Like I was speaking with Cal about guess what? And he said that every time I can't even say what it was he said because I genuinely didn't understand it. But something about the server sent data to you, and the other way around.
Client
Yeah.
to server, server to client. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one main rule, is that as a server, as you mentioned, like the server is the kind of back end stuff, and then we have the client, which is all you guys connecting, and there's code running on your guys' computer for Ranch. That's essentially what it is. So code will execute on your computers, and code will execute on our servers, and they communicate with each other. And the main rule is we never trust you. So
I get
the
that.
server will never ever trust a client on the data that it gets sent.
Are
if
you a
we
client? Are you a
trusted
golden
ev-
clients?
Yeah. Anyone that
Okay.
connects to the server is counted as a client.
Okay. Okay.
But the server, on some dedicated box running the main code, the golden rule is never trust anything that it gets sent. Because if we trust anything that the client sends us, then you could send us an instruction to pay you $10 million.
Oh yeah.
Like there's obviously it's more intricate than that, but that's the gist. Just never trust anyone.
And
How do you get-
what kind of limitations does that put? Because I remember when this came up when we were talking about the differences with like the livestock, depending on where it is and like what you do to it as the person. And you said that when you do this, then it's data the way that we don't want it, so we're limiting, the amount of different areas where that can change. So how does all like this that we don't trust the person, how does that affect when you have to do scripts?
The easiest way around it, I mean, we let the client send us whatever data they want. Okay, if it's data for the ranching script, we accept data coming in. We don't reject any client requests unless it's on anti-cheat purposes. Like there's a lot of anti-cheat stuff that we just outright reject from the server. What I mean by don't trust the client is whenever we do get sent data from the client, we need to validate it. We need to essentially say, hey, data's coming in to the server. Should this client be pushing this data? And is this data that's coming in valid for this system? For example, if we get a random set of data coming in from UDIP as a client saying, hey, pay me $1 million, we'll accept that data, but we'll say, wait a minute, is DIP in the position to be getting paid right now, and who by? So we'll do a lot of validation, a lot of comparisons, and if it doesn't match up, then we'll assume you're sending false data. And then
When you say you
do
that, is it manually?
No.
It's all programmatically.
I've got an example for you. So let's say you're picking up a dropped item on the floor. Say it's like a Navy revolver, and you're picking it up. So when you first join the server, or when the item gets dropped, the server's going to tell you there's a dropped Navy revolver on the floor at this coordinates, facing this way, in this virtual world or whatever. And then you can go over to it and you can hold tab to pick it up. When you hold tab and you pick it up, that's sending a request to the server to pick up that weapon. The server will look at the item ID for it, and then the server will look up, the position of this dropped item. Are you near it? It can see your position. It can see the item's position. It will see, are you near it? If you're not, then something's wrong. All the other checks it needs to do. And then once that's passed, it will give you the item. If it's not, then the anti-cheat will kick in and it will start questioning why you're far away from the item that you're trying to pick up. Like, how's it happened? It should only be when you're nearby.
If you, for some reason, let's say that someone has gone into their teleport business or teleport interior apartment, right? You put down a gun, right? Because you're in a virtual world there. You're in a weird virtual world then. And you put down a gun on the table. Let's say that bleeds through to the virtual where everybody is the main servers in virtual and that is just bleeding out at a random location up in Amberino or something like that. I see it, and I'm like, oh, let me pick that up. Someone left a gun for me out here. Is that what we're talking about? And then they'll go, hey, you're not supposed to be anywhere near that.
Kind of, yeah. But what I'm more so mentioning is like if a hacker who was to manually,
Oh,
try
like
and
enter
send
someone's
commands
bank
to the
account.
server
Yeah.
to pick up all the items, that it's been received. It's not going to be possible because it's not nearby them all.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
I see that Yamatai actually touched on it just now, but this is kind of to see if I've somehow maybe understood this a bit. But with the boxes, the way that they sometimes act up, is that because there is like a
It's a disconnect,
um,
desynced, yeah.
exactly. So that's also I was asking, you say, hey, there's a box here, you can pick it up, and then we try, and then it's like, psych, that's not actually where the box is.
Yeah, the server doesn't think it should be there, but your client does think it should be there.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a
And
question here.
and that is what sync is. If you ever heard of desync
yeah.
or sync
Mhm.
or whatever, that is sync is the agreement between the server and the client. The server saying this should be here, the client saying this should be here. And if there's desync, it means the server and client don't agree.
That's
on
why
a
we see
specific
some of
thing.
the Australians
learning
flying
today.
around every now and then.
Yeah.
Because their sync is pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like the thing about seeing people jumping about or floating on horses or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all to do with like CFX. They have their own agreements between the client and the core CFX server. So yeah, if you'd say desyncing and RedM and you see people flying about, that's just you and RedM not agreeing with each other on where things should be. Same with like if you're playing Call of Duty and you shoot a gun at someone, and you
And they're
think
around
you
the
shot
corner.
them,
Hit
like, you're
wreck.
on point.
Yeah.
Hit wreck.
You run around the corner and you still die after you've gone around the corner and you go,
Yeah.
fuck, I was around the corner. Yeah, decent.
Bro.
Yeah.
That is just the client and server not agreeing on where the shot should be hitting,
Yeah.
and that's desync. So
We need to get something debunked here, right? Right? Because I, for a long
I know. I already know what this is about.
Okay. So, horses calling. Okay? We might as well get this out in the open now, okay? Because I, for a long time, thought that horses helped increase culling. So I, as the mayor of Valentine, thought that would be a great idea to put up a town ordinance that if you're going to be around town, let's say you're going to sit down and play poker for an hour, just fleet your horse. You're riding near the stable anyways, you know what I mean? But I just came to learn maybe a week and a half ago by Golden that, nope, nothing to do with culling. You could have a billion million horses there, nothing to do. That's not his words, but...
Well, first of all, so there is a limit to how many horses you can have. That's just placed by the Red Dead game. You can't spawn 100 horses because there's game pools. They call it like ped pools and stuff. And there's just hard-coded limits in the actual base game that we can't control as to how many horses can be spawned at one time. But for example, I can spawn 50 horses and I can see all 50, but if the culling's 32 and there's 32 players around me and there's still 10 horses, then obviously the horses aren't affecting the culling, and there's no. It's just player-controlled entities.
I've got a good analogy for it, and I think it's why it's called pooling, right? Imagine you have 3 swimming pools lined up next to each other, okay? And they're all different sizes, and there's a sign on each swimming pool. One of them says players, and it can only fit 32 people in that swimming pool. All right? There's another pool called animal peds, and you can only fit, say, 50 animal peds in that swimming pool. There's another pool called objects, and you can only fit 3,000 objects in that pool.
Yeah.
So if anyone tries to get in the pool, say Golden wants to get in the player pool, there's obviously no room, so Golden will force someone to come out of that pool, or it'll just get rejected from that pool altogether. Same with horses, same with objects. Like there's these different pools of how many entities can be synced at one time. If
Yeah,
that's
but
a
you
good
still-
analogy. I don't know what it is.
No, I get it. Yeah, it makes sense. But so horses, it doesn't matter. You can still have 32 play. Like, let's say there's 25 players there and there's 30 horses, that's nothing to do with calling. You can still let another 7 people into Valentine before calling starts. The little red button starts glowing up.
Yeah.
Let's just say we haven't tested this, by the way, but yes, that's the way it should be. Yeah.
Mm.
We haven't got like 30 people to like stand in one place and then spawn 30 horses and checked, but as far as the logic goes, yeah, that's the way it should work.
Okay, all right.
I think this is a very, very good way to make us understand this better. Just find out, find things that we encounter often that is weird, and have you guys explain it.
Yeah.
that's
pretty
what we
much.
need.
Because that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I have tons of those. Why, when I want to kill a cow, does it not react when I lasso it, but after I punch it, now the entity belongs to me?
Belongs to you? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I'll let you explain, Golden. If you want.
Yeah, so each entity that you see, like each animal that you come across in the wild, each pet you see walking along the road, they all are controlled by one of the players in that area. And that player is responsible for the AI, essentially,
Mhm.
and
Acro
where
range
the animal
and
goes.
all that stuff.
Yes.
Mm.
Certain things can trigger you to become the owner of this entity and start controlling the AI. The script can tell it to do that. For example, if you take a box off a wagon, it'll set you to the owner of the wagon just so it can handle manipulation of it. Because if you're not the owner, then there's going to be issues.
Yes.
And in the same field, if you're out hunting and one of the animals seems bugged, chances are you're not the owner of that entity. Someone else is, but they're too far away for any AI to be running on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
that's why you meet some animals that aren't even
Because
fucking
Bird
human.
just asked, one of the number one asked questions is, how can I stop the animals from disappearing?
I have no
So
idea. That's
that
just
would-
the Reddit.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I don't know. I've done a
because-
lot of research into this.
Yeah.
In there is some code on the server to help it. Like, essentially, when an animal dies, it will become unnetworked. Essentially, so what happens is the game considers the animal dead, and it's like
Mhm.
this animal no longer really needs to exist anymore because it's dead. So what we've done is we've manually, once you hit and kill an animal, we try and capture the event of that animal dying, and then network that animal to the player that killed it. And I think it's helped out a bit. There's obviously still instances that I think are constrained by Redem, where
Yeah.
the animal will sometimes disappear, but it's not as bad as it used to be before that code was implemented. Like before, it was just every single time the animal was essentially just disappeared, gone.
Like what
Um,
I've noticed is if you shoot it and it dies, it poofs. So if you kill it and it just vanishes. But if you do manage to get ownership of the entity by punching it, that's one way. Another way is, letting it bleed out and then, mercy killing it. That also somehow seems, at least for some time, enough time to either skin it or whatever, to give you ownership of it so you can actually skin it.
Yeah, it's a battle between the ped or the player owning that animal entity, plus that animal entity being networked on the server. Because by default, the events on Red Dead Redemption 2, and I mean, I can go into what events are later on, but essentially, once that animal dies, it will trigger an event, and we need to capture that event to say this animal's dead, it was killed by this player, and then network those two together, like manually, like stick them together.
So the player gains ownership of the animal because he was the one that killed it.
Yeah, ownership or networked or essentially we need to make that connection manually because the event itself will disconnect that relationship.
Do you get it, Yusk?
I get it. I got a couple of follow-up questions. First of all, like, because I think this is a great opportunity to explain some of the reasonings behind it. What is the purpose of? I got so many dumb questions. What's the reason between restarting a server? And why do we do it every 6 hours? Why not every 8 hours, or every 12 hours, or every 24 hours?
I mean, at this stage, like right now, we really don't need to restart the server at all. It's healthy to do so because it clears up some stored memory. But if your server's poorly optimized and you have memory leaks, that's when a server restart kills off all of that memory and then reallocates it like to free to
Yeah.
essentially be used. We do it at the moment mainly to give people a chance to get on the server if they're not priority.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
We can realistically go to one restart a day or
Yeah.
one restart every 2 days if we want to.
Unless Grady breaks milk.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we at this stage, our memory management is really good, so we don't really need to restart every 4 times a day.
Yeah,
we don't need
it's
to.
mostly on the client side, right? With I forgot what Cal explained it to me, but I forgot what it's called. But basically, the thing that makes it so that the inventories get slower and slower the more you open them.
Yeah. I mean, you can either do that by relogging. Obviously, people's computers are vastly different in terms of specifications. So Dip, you might have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Golden might have 16. I might have 4 gigabytes of RAM. Forcing people to quit the server through a restart will help with any client-side memory stuff that's going on.
Yeah, of course.
But in terms of if everyone had like great computers and whatnot, like, yeah, we wouldn't need to restart. But I think we just do it now to give people a chance to maybe refresh things a little bit if need be. But yeah.
Oh no, those fucking love it, man.
The whole storing that memory, right? Is it correctly understood that, like, when you open a storage or use a menu, the reason it remembers that is so that next time you use it, it's going to be load up quicker.
Yeah, I mean that's something called caching, essentially.
Yeah.
So you cache the data either on the client's computer or on. I mean, caching 240 players' inventory on the server is probably a bad idea, but yeah. So that's caching. We do use that quite a lot. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we cache. I've lost my train of thought.
Would it be possible to, for instance, because when I last discussed this, it was basically that every time you open one of those menus, it remembers that so that it opens up faster before, next time you do it. However, is that something that you two make it do?
We
Yeah.
we use Vue.js for our front end UI, and it doesn't actually do a lot of caching on its own. But it does need to open up once for it to cache it. Yeah.
All right, I got.
And it also go
sorry,
on.
Go ahead.
Now it's your
go
turn.
ahead. No,
I'm just talking about more storage because it
okay.
also matters how much, like how much it has to load in. The size of the inventory you're looking into, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's why people with like 6,000 items in their bank might experience a little bit of lag. And there's on the roadmap there is an item for inventory optimization. Ideally, in an ideal situation, we do not want to make a client load 6,000 items. That's
Thank you. That's what I wanted to ask.
yeah. In an ideal situation, we would like to use something called lazy loading. Essentially, what that is as you scroll down on your inventory, if you have 6,000 items, it will load the first 16 boxes, and then as you scroll down, it will like incrementally load the rest of your items. So that means at one time we're only really serving, or you're only really receiving the amount in that load. So that's part of the roadmap item of optimizing inventory and storages and whatever else. Because
And
at
when
this
you
stage
then
of the
close it,
server,
is it then cached?
when you close the inventory, the
Yeah.
items that are in there will get saved. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why the people with 6,000 odd items is it can get slow.
Oh, but
Essentially.
with this item that you explained.
So, with the items in inventory.
Yeah, like you said that it would do the lazy loading. So it
Yeah.
loads 16 slots, every time you go through, right? So when I go to the 16, then I go to the next 16, will the first 16 then be cached?
I think with lazy loading, no, because it doesn't need to be cached because you're only
Okay.
loading 16 items. So it's probably acceptable just to, load that up, and then when you reopen it, it will restart the lazy loading. Because then you'll just have that issue again where if you load all of the items in your storage from
Exactly.
lazy loading, if we cache that, then you're just going to have all of those items sitting there. Whether it would be better to just reset the lazy load so you could continue having a faster inventory.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so that is on the list.
So with the now I got a little bit of a question here, and it's probably a little bit of context here, and it's probably not as easy answered when it comes to how easy the question actually comes out. But so we currently have 240 slot server, right? And we've seen other servers with higher or lower. And it's no secret that since that clothing tint update got dropped and got live, that we have seen we've had several days with over, and you even made an announcement of it on Discord, with over 100 people in queue during prime time. I understand that a lot of people will sit there and go, oh man, in prime time, like we want to come in and play, but we also have very low populated hours. What's the criteria you guys are looking for to up the player count of the server? Because I understand that, like, why have a 400 slot server when during 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning in European time there's only 40, 50 players on the server. But at prime time we're having 100 player queue. What are you guys looking forward to update to more than 240?
We're limited by culling essentially. If we have more slots than what we've got now, then that means that it's going to be more people in the towns like Valentine or Saint Denis or Blackwater or Rhodes, where we already have culling at peak times, and you can't see certain people, and you have these you might have a bank robbery and then you can't see the people robbing the bank or the lawmen that are outside, and it just really interrupts these scenes and interrupts the role play. And there's no benefit to having more players on if you can't role play.
Yeah. No, I get that, but at the same time, we also have people who try to spread out the RP.
Yeah.
We have several people who are several different groups are starting to spread the RP all the way up to Coulter, Amberino, that area, all the way down to Tumbleweed as well. Annesburg over the last 2 months I've seen a big surge in popularity, at least with the amount of players up there. Is that something you look at as well, or is it just simply the fact that that Valentine Roads and stuff like that usually gets called?
Yeah, I mean, by people moving out to these more secluded areas where there's no one role playing or fewer people role playing, it means there's less people in the big areas. And if it gets to a point where we don't have culling in Rhodes and Saint Denis and Valentine, then we can look at upping the slots.
Yeah. I mean,
doing it
we're
is
always
very risky.
As long as we're limited by CFX or Red Dead Redemption to 32, we're always going to experience. We can experience culling when there's essentially we can experience culling with 33 people on the server. If just every single one was in Valentine. You know what I mean? It's a matter of spreading people out. So is that are you looking at upping the slots on the server? Or are you waiting for CFX or Red Dead Redemption, whatever the Rockstar to fix this issue like they have in 5M, and then after that?
Yeah,
I
go
mean
on.
that was one of the reasons why, the last quality of life update had the introduction of the culling marker, because there's, as you mentioned, what conditions do we have to up the player count? The baseline answer is how people react when they enter a zone of culling, because our requirement is that roleplay doesn't get interrupted by culling.
Mm.
And if we see that lots of people, condense in Blackwater or Saint Denis and disrupt roleplay, like Golden said, bank robberies, groups that roleplay there as their home. If people don't react to that and spread out, then we're not confident in putting the player count up just to have a higher player count number.
It's just gonna make it worse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, today we can increase to 350 slots if we want to, but we'd be sacrificing that requirement.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks for the people that want to have a really authentic, immersive experience and not seeing people flying about like ghosts, etc.
But there's also a motivational word in there. If you out there have friends that can't get into the server because of a queue, maybe you should start RPing in Coulter.
Yeah. Go up and spread it out to culture.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we
Because
have
the more
culture.
people that spread out, the more people we can get in here.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, we got culture, all of Amberino basically. We got Van Horn. Van Horn had a little bit of a resurgence when I think Fitz and Amos they started the general store or whatever it was up there, and they had the saloon was active there as well. But I feel like Van Horn is a little bit of a dead spot now as well. There's just plenty of spots to spread out to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the entirety of
part-
the north part of the map is actually
Yeah.
completely vacant in terms of natural points of interest. Right there is so many tiny bird says 2 camps, all kind of these things like rocket there. It's there's plenty of opportunity to make good RP even though it's not in a town.
And I mean, as said, spreading out is great. Like if you're starting a roleplay group, if you already notice there's 3 gangs in Saint Denis, don't start a gang in Saint Denis because you're just going to be contributing to the culling of Saint Denis. Part of the requirements, as I mentioned, of raising the player count is how people react, and I think I mentioned that as well. And we're gathering data on how quickly people react to a culling zone. So if they see red, we're like, okay, how long was this zone called for? Oh, it was called for 4 minutes. Well, obviously people aren't spreading out then in that zone. Or if we look at, say, Valentine becomes red, oh, it was only for 5 seconds. Great, people have identified that and moved out really quick. If we consistently see that people have learned to react to this marker and move out, then we can look at saying, what's 10 more slots going to do? That's 10 more friends that can come in and play the server, or 10 more people that can experience Red Dead Redemption roleplay or whatever. All these visionary.
And the queue doesn't look
what-ifs.
as intimidating.
Yeah. And every time I feel sorry for the people that have to queue up. It
Oh,
does
yes.
suck when on a Sunday night or a Saturday night you want to play with your friends and you can't get in.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you got something planned out, like a wedding.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big balancing game at the moment, and it's a data collection game right now of how quickly people are gonna react. So if you're listening, if you see the red dot, just
Leave.
if you don't need to be in that area, just spread out because it will help. Our decision in the future to increase server slots.
Or even if you see it come on and then it goes off real fast again, then we're close to the limit. We're close to if you see it come and then you see it leave, go off again, and you have some friends that you're supposed to meet up with, send them a telegram saying, hey, let's meet. Just let's meet down by the telegram station instead of in Valentine main main street, whatever you want to call it, that one street. You know what I mean? Like meet with them somewhere else. You know, because if you're already paying attention to it, if there is calling, you know it's prime time. You know, and obviously it's not just, you know, it's obviously you don't have to worry so much if you're playing in Coulter or if you're playing somewhere up in Amarina or in Tumbleweed. But you know, like when there's in Rhodes in prime time and Valentine prime time, certain areas. I don't know how the culling works. It's not all of Saint Denis. That's only 32 players. It's areas, right? It's not the entirety.
If you remember, I was talking about client and server.
Yeah.
So your client, at the point that he is standing, or she, or they are standing, essentially it will scan in a circle around that spot and count how many pedestrians it's networked in, or how many players it's networked in.
So it's not fixed bubbles. It's based on where you are.
Yeah, it's based on the point that you are.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I mean, if you're standing, you know, at the gun store in Valentine, and someone's standing at the sheriff's office in Valentine, it's going to be the same number essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. There's a good rule of thumb. If you see the red light, that means it's time to go sightseeing.
Yep. Go do something else.
Go out and visit. Go out and visit the the places that are a bit out there. Go up to the Wapiti Reservation. Ask them politely if you can come say hi. Go to Van Horn.
When it comes
leave.
Yeah. When it comes to coding, right? If it comes to when it comes to people come up with bright ideas or shit ideas, because I would be one of the ones with the shit ideas saying, hey, how about we just do this? And you guys go, that's basically impossible, and it will take Golden 5 months of nonstop coding to do that little thing. What's the approach you guys would like if someone has an idea? And what do you like to see from people when they come with ideas? Like obviously to fit, file it somewhere. But like, give us an example of someone that comes up with an idea and gives it to you guys. But it's the way that they come with the idea is like that's a shit way. You're not giving us anything give us a good and a bad example.
Ideally, you'd have a quick description of what the idea is, why it needs to be added, what's going to achieve, and then the steps through the script essentially. So if you imagine you are the player, what using the script, what happens and what happens after the actions are done. So let's say you had a script idea for, I don't know, buying a boat. You'd have, to start, the player goes to this location, the Saint Denis port, and there's a house, and they use a prompt which opens a menu, and in the menu there's from the top down you've got a list of these boats, and they say each boat, how much each one costs. When you click on a boat, it shows a preview, and then you can buy it, and then the boat spawns and takes the money off you. So essentially, a full walkthrough of what should happen is ideal when you've got these ideas.
And I mean, I have a really good example, and I kind of give kudos to Absroot for posting his example for the printing press.
Yeah.
I'll post it in chat. This is a good example of a suggestion, and I don't expect people to like go and do mock-ups and stuff. But he put like a full-on what it would look like picture in the suggestion. He gave us some examples of some Red Dead Redemption 2 images that we could use. And I was able to really quickly turn around and go, yep, this idea is brilliant. I can already envision it by what he's put in the suggestion. And I was able to just like smash it out in an hour. Like really quickly.
All right.
So suggestions like that where either there's a visual idea of what you're trying to suggest, or as Golden said, you're walking through what you would expect of a system. That gives not only us a better idea of what you want, but it gives the community a better idea to feedback and be like, well, this part wouldn't work, or this part would, or whatever else.
Yeah, because in this, like if it was me, if I knew how to code, I'd be like, I don't want to have you give me 1% of an idea and I have to work out the 99% rest of the idea. No, give me the majority of the idea and I'll make it happen. If it's a good idea, that is. If it's something that ranch roleplay at once, you know. But don't come in with like a fraction of an idea, you know. At least, you know, show that you've made some effort and put some thought into the idea of how it should impact RP. Is that what you guys saying? You know, don't just come in with
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we want the vision of this server to be the result of everyone. As you mentioned, we don't want a suggestion
kind of
like,
podcast.
yeah, like we don't want a suggestion of just like add blackjack, done, like that's it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
as you mentioned, they've obviously provided that 1% idea, and we need to come up with the 99% of how we're going to do it. And that
Give us
99%
pets.
is yeah, like that 99% is just Mir Golden's vision. It's not really, for example, Jack's vision, who said, "Oh, with blackjack, I would like to go up to the dealer and like talk to him and maybe like buy chips from him that I could use in other parts of the world, or etc. etc." Yeah, man, like anything that includes your vision and a suggestion is the best.
I just want to touch back quickly on one part here when we're talking about the calling part. You guys were saying that, you know, that you it's data gathering game right now about how quick people get out of the culling zones and stuff like that. And I know this is not your guys' choice. You know, it's not just Golden Leo said, "Fuck Guarma, right? Get rid of that shit right now." But essentially, right, Guarma was its own like TP kind of, you know, like. They had their own bubble kind of thing out there, which good. But right now we've forced all those players to say, you got to play on the main island right now. So in saying that, how we doing on the how we doing on the Mexico thing? Is anything happening there, or is that still behind covers and we're not talking about that right now? But
yeah, I mean, things are in the works. You know, we're learning a lot of stuff about MLOs, and you know, with Guarma specifically, that's not going to be closed permanently. We're looking at having actual ships that you can get on, kind of like World of Warcraft, and you get on a Zeppelin, and it will take you instead of just being a TP.
Or memories.
gotta go talk to a little
you'll
goblin
be
and
sailing
go
on a
take
boat.
Yeah.
You might even have to do 10-20 minutes of open sea roleplay, you know, roleplay having scurvy or whatever
Oh,
you want to do.
please.
But yeah, and with Mexico, that's a much bigger project, and we want actual, you know, if we're gonna do Mexico, we need to do it right. We don't want it to look out of place or like it was done in a day. You know, it needs to look authentic. It needs to look like it was meant to be there. So we're not going to put it in until we fully know how to make MLOs, how to make them look good. You know, we want to have roads and stuff, and it needs to look good, essentially. And we're not quite at that stage yet.
I know we already spoke about this. Player controlled jobs when it comes to this. Zeppelin, hot air balloon, ferryman, these type of jobs. Is that coming? Can I be an old drunk that flies people in a tiny little hot air balloon over there?
It won't be all happening. Well, to Mexico, maybe, but with the Guarma, with the ship, it'll be an NPC. You'll buy a ticket, and an NPC will eventually come and pick you up, and you'll get on the boat, and it'll sail away. But we will have the ability for faction flags to be able to control the boat and take over for the NPC and do the driving, so long as, you know.
You sounded disappointed. Did you want to sail the boat?
No, I was just thinking, you know, like have a guy there. Okay, no, I'm fine. It's fine. It's okay. No. But I was just wondering. So is it like, you know, like you get on a boat, like, you know how let's just use World of Warcraft as an example here. When you sail across from whatever the main island, one of the main islands to the other one, it gives you a quick little loading screen. Is that what we're looking at here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it will go to like Annesburg, and it will continue northeast, and then kind of fade to black, and then it will spawn you in Guarma, but like really far out from the beach, and it might stay there for a little bit. You know, you might not see anything in the distance. Maybe you'll just see Guarma. Depends what we can get away with.
And then we're gonna have a million tickets.
Bit of open sea roleplay.
I fell off
Yeah,
the boat
don't-
because of desync.
Don't log off. Don't log off when you're out there. Yeah.
All right, cool. Cool. No. It's exciting. What else we got working on? I know Dip is sitting there going, I want to know more about ranching on him, but we don't have Cal here.
No.
No?
I have a different one.
Oh, okay. All right.
This now, for once, this is not about me. Okay?
Everything's about you, Dip. Everything.
This is it's a long time ago since I've asked a wagon related question, Golden.
Okay.
So here's a wagon related question. Because I remember when we did the anniversary podcast. That was before we were even teased about the clothing tints and whatnot. We were only, told. We found out this is possible. And I believe you mentioned that, you found out that it can be used on practically everything, even horses at some point. Would this also hypothetically mean that the blacksmiths will be able to make wagons in different colors?
Ooh.
I mean, how many different colors of wagons should there be? Should there be, red wagon? I guess there should.
More than one of each,
I guess
so like they
you
can
have
have
to
a
look
green
at-
stagecoach
Yeah, I guess so. You can
or a
already change
neon
some
green
parts of the
stagecoach.
liveries.
Ooh, near.
I cannot confirm if it's possible on wagons. I haven't looked, but I know it's possible on like tack for your horses, and I'm pretty sure it's possible on horses itself. I don't know if it's possible on wagons.
Stay
I
tuned.
haven't done research into it.
What about
essentially,
guns?
that's what I'm trying to say. Guns, probably, yeah. I mean, you can change the materials on it, and yeah, no, guns you definitely can. We can probably make like, but do we want people to be able to fully
No.
customize their
We already spoke
No.
about this sometimes.
No.
Like people running around with like neon green guns, and like
No, yeah, probably not. Probably.
No.
I mean, if we're gonna
I-
add ones, we'll just add new presets and then like
Yeah.
let them choose.
I mean, I will say this, if anything. This is the same as the calling thing, with the red marker. This is how we get good things. This is how we get nice things.
Mm.
We're shown something, and we show that we're, mature people that know how to handle stuff, right? The clothing thing that we all love, if you all behave and don't dress like an idiot, maybe Golden and Lau will think about that being applicable in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Just keep that in mind. I don't see no neon green fools running around.
What's that
Maybe.
old meme?
Well, you should
Maybe.
do it anyway. You get yourself banned in there, wouldn't you?
Was that
can
old
get
meme? This
something
is why
else.
we can't have nice things. This is why we can't
Yeah,
have nice things.
yeah. It's like, and I think, I think that's a very, very fair way of doing it.
Yeah. Show that you can handle
Yeah.
this new privilege. And then show that we were mature. No, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, we don't trust you to, not make a green horse if you don't make a neon green outfit, right?
Mm.
That might be
Exactly.
making things black and white, but I mean, these two hold the power. What are you gonna do about it?
What else we got? What else we got coming up? You just showed us some juicy stuff from Absolute with the printing press. What you got something else? You got something else that you can show us here? A little bit of some juicy stuff.
We got our beards, maybe new hairstyles coming too. But the thing is, with these like custom beards and hairs, then they're not base game shop items. Essentially, is what the game calls them. And with shop items, they'll react. So let's say you put like a bandana up, your beard's gonna tuck into it. Or let's say you put like a hat on, your hair is gonna morph and go around the hat or like tuck into it, whatever, right? But if with these custom ones, which we can add and will add, the it won't morph around. It's just gonna stay solid and not move.
Yeah.
It
It's
might
gonna look
react to the wind
silly
and
on
stuff.
some of the things. Yeah. 'cause
Well,
it
there are
goes
ways
through
we
it.
can go about it. Like if you put a bandana up, we can just take off the beard and then put it back on when you take the bandana back down, so it's not glitching. But with
Yeah.
the hats and the hairs, we can't quite do that because most hats you can see the hair and But
So
we can
you
try
go
and
out
make it
with
work to the best of our abilities. And
big luscious hair, and then when you put a custom hat on, boom, you're bald.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you have to try and compromise, find the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. All right, cool. All right. I think that we've had a lot of questions. So I'm just gonna open up for questions from the public right now. I did
Yeah,
know
that's
that
probably
there
gonna
was
take a while.
yeah, there's probably a lot of people that that have some questions. In the meantime, I wanna know what, because you guys, while people write up their type up their questions, I want to know about you guys. Talking about you guys say that if you buy a script, right? Because I know a lot of people out there, I've seen people talk about, why don't we just get this script right here? A script that's not, it doesn't work. It doesn't speak the language of your script right now, but also when you buy a script from someone else, it's like locked, right? You can't edit it or anything like that.
Yeah. It's most purchase scripts are put behind something called, but it's essentially encryption. So you essentially buy the script from whatever Tebex store you want to buy it from, pretty easy, and then you'll just link it to your server, and it will auto download the encrypted version of that script. But I mean, if
You can't
that
edit
script
it. You
has,
can't see it. It could be anything in there. It could be a virus.
yeah,
And
and
it probably won't be. Could be.
and say we purchase a script for ranching, if we were, lazy enough to do that, stuff like the UI would be totally different from all of the other UI components. If a cow is bugging out, we can't go in and fix that. We don't really have any full control over the script. We don't own it.
Yeah.
We don't have the copyright for it. There's a myriad of reasons why I'll never ever purchase scripts to use on Ranch.
All right.
That's one thing we will never do.
Okay.
So we can purchase MLOs and whatnot, but never scripts. Yeah.
Question about wagon cleaning. Is there any plans about that? So are we able to dust them and clean them, essentially, so removing dirt from them, I imagine? That, I imagine, wouldn't be too hard. It's just finding an animation to clean it, I guess, and saying it is cleaned. I'm sure there's probably a native function for that the game provides.
Yeah. That can be like a quality of life update.
Yeah, it's a small thing.
Yeah. When it comes to all right, I know this is a meme. Leo, how do you feel about Mr. Worldwide?
Dale.
One thing, how do they both feel seeing where we started to now as well? Like, starting out with your, if anyone has ever gone onto Discord and clicked on, we touched this subject. We touched this subject on the very first podcast. But if you go and click on Leo or Golden's profile on Discord, you'll see when they joined Ranch Roleplay Discord. So that's quite a bit time before Ranch Roleplay came to a thing. But how do you guys feel about what you guys have accomplished to where you started out just mucking about, and now boom, you got essentially one of the most popular servers ever in Red M.
12,000
Never
goons.
expected to have this much demand. It's just crazy. It's been constantly growing ever since it blew up, and it's never stopped. And didn't expect it to be like this.
Yeah. I mean, thinking really back to when me and Golden met, we always had a kind of joint idea of starting a server somewhere. And originally it was a Rust server back in 2017 or something. I can't remember. We've always had a drive to create something together, and to be honest, we didn't really care about being the most popular server or anything. All we wanted to do was put scripts together and create something. Yeah, and thinking back to those Rust days where we would make a server and have maybe 2 people on, to now it's kind of crazy to think the success has kind of come around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't really think about it too much. I think we're just more kind of flabbergasted that it's happened, and we're like, oh, okay, that's a thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to ask the other half of that question. Instead of thinking back, now and, y'all being, surprised that it's going so well and don't really know how concerned are you with the fact that it's growing so fast, and obviously so will your workload continuously do.
It's a tremendous amount of pressure. I mean, every time there's issues with the server and it times out, or there's issues with players connecting, it's like, you get this tremendous amount of anxiety. There's all these players that are trying to play, and it's your fault that they can't get on.
There's
There's no
12,000
one
people.
else. It's just me and Leo that can
There's
control
only
that,
one golden Leo, yeah.
It's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress and anxiety that does come with it. But you just got, we do play here ourselves too. Like sometimes
Yeah.
the server will be crashing, no one can get on, and I'm pissed off because I can't get on either. You know what I mean?
But I mean, those situations, right, where it is super stressful, it's like we've learned the most from that. Like all of the crashes we've had, or timeouts, or issues with scripts, or whatever. That's where we've really cultivated the server and the infrastructure to probably the best on Red M. So I think without those stressful times, we would be a bit more clueless as to what to do with things. But yeah, man, it's like I'm more mellow about stuff. Like if the server's blown up, I'm kind of like, okay, that's cool, let's fix it. But yeah, I think we're a good team. We're like a yin and yang of like stressfulness and calm and collected, and
Yeah. It's
I hear
a
a little bit golden going.
Well, I do get stressed quite a bit, quite easy as well. What is the
there's a
overall
lot
vision for the server? Sorry, I didn't mean to change if you were still
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
No, it's just
That was a good
just a
question.
shortly thing. Like with people, they also seem to forget. Because I remember Puffy sat down, then
Yeah.
how that crash message used to just haunt, and then from one day to another,
Yeah, that's
barely any
gone.
crashes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically gone. But
yeah,
but we
I mean that.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say that ties into what Red M's priorities are, or CFX's priorities are. We could have had a Cullen fix 6 months ago, but the more impactful thing was the crashes like Coffee Sad Dawn and all of these other Red M
Sad
crashes
Dawn.
that yeah, like those were the priority for the guys developing Red M. Yeah, I'm super glad that those crashes are gone essentially, and now I think crashing's relatively rare on the server.
Yeah.
If it is, it's just like client crashes, people's memory pools run out, or stuff that Red M can't control, we can't control. So, yeah, but to be honest, the more crashes, the better, because it means we can fix stuff and make our systems more reliable. I think that's one of the good advantages of people crashing out and breaking stuff, which is good.
Okay. The next one is from Fish Geeks. He goes, "Can blacksmiths get more emotes as to working? Just swinging a hammer, framing a long pipe dream of mine." I'm gonna put that in the same box. I'm gonna, with pretty baby asking the question of, can we get decorative items such as furniture items as seen in the abandoned camps, lock boxes, strings, photographs, etc. All these types of different emotes, different type of things that are interactive, where you can interact with. Like how much of a work is it? You just bring in one extra emote or one extra interactive hanging string from or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I'll do a really short explanation, then you can go on. But the emotes in Red Dead Redemption 2, there's thousands of them. Like literally, I don't have enough time in the day to scan through every single emote. And I mean, people in the community, early doors have done that, and they've like made out a list of potential emotes. But a lot of the emotes in Red Dead Redemption 2 that you might see in single player, or you might see on Red Dead Online, only work for specific pedestrians or peds. We might have an emote that I can see a guy in Saint Denis doing in single player, but then when I try and put it on my character, I T-pose. And there's a lot of work going into identifying which emotes work for which pedestrian. But yeah, it is time consuming, and we do appreciate anyone that does spend time to look at emotes and send us a list, and the actual implementation of them is pretty quick. To add it to the action wheel or to add it to blacksmiths when they craft something, that's relatively quick. It's just finding and doing the research on if the emote works.
There's different types of animations as well. You've got regular animations, which, such as like putting your hands behind your back, where you can still walk around. You've got like scenarios, which are like full, like multiple animations. Like for example, like leaning on railing 2, or one of those ones are like
the sword dance.
Well, that's a normal animation. It's quite easy to identify because when you stop the animation of a scenario, it takes a second or two to
yes.
finish up. Scenarios are very strict as to who they can run on. You have male versions, female versions, single player versions, online versions. And the normal animations are a lot more forgiving, but they don't look as cool. They're not as immersive. And they don't have props or nothing like that. If you want to have props, and you have to manually like attach them to the right place, get the rotations, a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Is there any way that anybody could help looking in and see if there are animations that can find their bugged or whatnot? Like, would they have to have their own server to do that?
Yeah, we have a command to like test it's called like test animations, the command name.
Yeah.
But it's obviously only for admins because you can put any animation in there. Yeah.
There's a most of them don't work.
No.
Yeah. Well, some animations are for props and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the idea of what happened for them to make the decision one day to do a server? I think we've spoken about this at the last time we had you guys on, and I think you already touched on it a little bit when we asked you about from where you started to here now. But what was in short, what was the idea? Was you guys like, fuck all these other fucking servers, man, we can do better than this, or let's just try and fuck about, or what was it?
Just wanted a good space to play over friends, mate, and we could do it. We knew we could do it, so we did it. We know we could.
So why the fuck not?
That's how easy it is.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? Wish the suit. Yeah, I think that anything with the emotes. We've already touched emotes and interactable stuff. We've touched about the 30 player per area limit. The crash. Yeah. I don't really, let me have a look here. What dip DM come back this? We already touched that. Was over our wishing. Nope. All right. I think I'm all up to date with the question. Yep. All right. I'm all up to date with the questions. Can Valentine get a printing press? If you RP around it, nothing is impossible. If you RP enough around it, look at me.
Yeah, I don't think there's a place in Valentine that would make sense to put one there. I mean, physically we can obviously put them anywhere, but I don't think Valentine has a printing press building like Blackwater and Saint Denis.
No, and a lot about this mapping, because just so you guys know, we do have a mapping to come on the for a podcast episode in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I can't remember the exact date on the top of my head right now. Shally probably can do it a little bit faster than me. But a lot of with the mapping, how to put up an extra painting or a fence that you can interact with, or at a blacksmith, have that little turning wheel, sharpened sword, axe thingy, stuff like that. Fun. Yes, because these are, correct me if I'm wrong, right? These are some of the items that that mapping can put in, and the mapping team knows which can be interacted with and what cannot be interacted with, correct?
Yeah.
So if you walk up to a specific fence, a specific type of fence, you can do /interact, and you guys will sit down on his knees, and he'll start hammering a nail.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not anymore?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
No, since the 10th update, when the interactions got updated, there was a lot of the old ones that got.
Yeah, it's a slightly different system of like finding the scenarios around you that it uses. I do want to add /interact 2, which would just be like the old system, so you'd have access to both.
Yeah.
Because I know the new one definitely has a lot more that you can do and less
It
bugged
does.
ones.
Oh,
It does.
ever
It's
since
just-
you opened up
yeah.
at my old house, there was some. I could pick up the hay fork thingy. I could open the chicken coop and put like a sack in there. It opened up so much more. Absolute goes, will the time eventually come when we move from prop mapping to MLO 3D modeling? Oh, we already talked about this a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out. And we've got, like Dan in the community is like trying to figure out how to make MLOs, and he's really good at modeling. We got the modding team. They're trying to figure it out too. It's not easy to learn. It takes a lot of time. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a whole skill.
They're taking one baby steps. We got a statue down in Saint Denis.
Yes.
Yeah,
We do.
we have a
We are
statue.
figuring it out.
exactly.
We're getting there. Dan's
mean,
doing a
it
lot of
just-
work. He's doing really good.
Just get blown up. And if you guys have noticed some of the tombstones around with like handwritten details, yeah, there's tons of stuff out there. If you guys have any more questions, this is about time now. Otherwise, I'm just gonna quickly let you guys know as well that if you guys hadn't seen in the announcement or you've forgotten, Leo and Golden have reached out and asked, hey, you guys know how to code? Hey, apply here, man. Come on. Let's
Totally
see.
Wilson answered.
Which guy? Oh, what?
Overall vision for the future.
What's your overall vision for the server? What are some things you want to fine tune? How can the community help? All right. Yeah, go.
I want to add like ChatGPT, OpenAI agents in the peds. So you can like sit and talk to people, and you can ERP with all the peds if you want to. And
Is April Fool's Day today?
no, but I mean, to be
go.
honest, right? If I spend time, I could probably, add a system where you could talk to peds and they would respond to you. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I have nothing to talk to them about.
I just got a DM from Leo saying that we have a giveaway. I did not know this. I didn't normally I put it in the title to at least get some of the a little bit more attention in here because people a giveaway. So I'm just going to set that up right now, and you guys can keep talking about Sword Mass's question. There's gonna be a keyword here.
Yeah. No, I'll be serious about the future though. Like, we're still working towards like I think 1.0 will be the short-term goal. Ideally, everything in our development roadmap will be completed by then. We'll have a few other hidden trinkets and systems that might go in for 1.0. But yeah, I think short-term that's a good aim. I don't really like to predict too far into the future. But hopefully, man, like if Cullen gets removed from, CFX themselves, I'd love the server to just be like anyone and everyone can like bring all their friends and roleplay, and everyone's roleplay ability is just spectacular. Through like stuff that maybe we can teach them, or the characters that they create. I'd love for the server to just be like the place to be. But yeah. What do you think, Golden?
Development.
So I think it means what is the overall vision for the server, and what are some things we want to fine tune. How can the community help? I think it's talking about
Oh, I thought you
like
meant future.
the server as
Like
a whole.
future vision. Okay.
In which case, I'd obviously say, like we've always said, it's a role playing server first. We haven't got ranching in yet, because we're focused on the role play, and we always will be. And yeah, I mean, essentially, we want players to be able to come on and feel like they're telling a story and they're role playing a character all the time. They're not breaking character or just chatting as if they're not role playing. They're trying to tell stories and further other people's stories and obviously PvP should always be like a last resort, and there is role play and PvP, but you should always focus on the role play. But yeah.
And in case
I mean, I could
nobody's
go on for
reading the
days
chat,
about this.
you want to win? You want to have a chance of winning a $60 gift card for Priority at Ranch Roleplay? Go ahead and type development in chat right now. No, go ahead. What's the other question? Can we give all the cattle at Emerald County? Oh, never mind. Not that. No, not that. Do any of you have any passion project ideas for the server? Something you really want to eventually script? Oh, that's a good question, man.
At the minute, it's like the ship. I really want to do the ship which you could stand on and get sailed away to Guam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before it was chess, but I mean, chess is kind of done. I'm just waiting to release it.
And I think those talks, like I've been looking behind the scenes, there's talks of having like custom railroad tracks. I think that'd be so cool just to like throw a railroad, over to Mexico or change the tracks a bit to down to New Austin, like so hopefully the research on that kind of comes to fruition. Because that would be pretty cool to add in and make our own custom implementation of it. Yeah.
That's your dream. That's your dream for now.
Trains.
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 Any recommendation for Ranch RP Twitch streamers that are new, unique? So any of the features that we just brought in? What are some of the features that that have just been brought in that you guys think that should be showcased on streams? Like you can't just say all of them, okay? You can't just say all of them.
I mean, I guess the outfit creator is the most recent, one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
The what ones?
The outfit creator.
The outfit creator, yeah. The outfit creator. That's great.
To be honest, I think most of the juicy stuff is coming pretty soon. Stuff like you've got chess, you've got new criminal stuff, roulette, blackjack, the new banking update. There's tons of stuff that is on like either the in development, the planned, or the backlog of things to do. Yeah, those will be really interesting for streamers, I guess, or any content creators to make content out of. Ideally, stuff that just isn't seen before. Every server has like blackjack and roulette and stuff. Like we know that, but our implementation of it should be the thing that's like, oh shit, this is cool.
Yeah,
it's not been done before. But yeah, man, there's lots to come in the short future.
I got a question. I know that we have currently we have a system for horses to kill them. We have the injury system. Is there any upcoming development around a vet that can RP around getting rid of these injuries?
Yeah, it was talked about before. It's just getting a plan for it. I don't know. I'm not very good at that sort of side of roleplay. I haven't delved into it. But if we get like a good plan set up for how that would work,
yeah,
I'm not open for it. Yeah,
I've put in chat like the whole kind of horse update, the horse breeding update. There's other stuff apart from that list that we'd like to do.
Oh yeah.
But as with everything, it's all based on a priority system.
Yeah.
What needs to get pushed out first?
Again, there's only one.
Eventually, want horses to die too, right? To keep the wheel rotating. So maybe we don't want to add vets. Maybe we do want horses to eventually die out.
Probably something along the lines of different types of diseases, because there's obviously huge potential for vet RP, especially with the range kip coming in and livestock getting sick. Your horse might as well can't catch something. If it catches a bullet to the head, she probably can't fix that, right? It's like it is a balance, and it's difficult. It's difficult when horses are our main companion in this entire thing. Yet for the economy, now it's Econ Dip speaking, they need to die. They do.
Mhm. Yeah.
I hate to say it. So
Alright.
what's next?
Well, we do have the giveaway. I'm gonna give it another 60 seconds. I'm gonna have to give it another 60 seconds. But if you guys haven't written development yet in the chat, there's only 11 people so far that have written development in chat. If you want to be, because I am going to in 60 seconds click that roll button. So if you want to have your chance for getting that fat,
It's a free $60.
yeah,
You know, free.
Whoop.
Let's do it. Development.
yeah.
Is there a what are we looking forward to in terms of new additions? Whatever you can and will say.
Blackjack.
Yeah, for me, it's just like chess. Looking forward to
I'm looking
playing
forward to the,
blackjack.
Yeah, gambling. Would be fun.
But the
I'm
banking
personally,
thing.
I'm personally invested in the banking update and the criminal update as well. There's lots of stuff that I think not only me but other people will be super excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have a big book of work to get done.
Yeah.
With the gambling stuff, like when I start working on like roulette or blackjack or whatever, you're not gonna see me for about a week. That's what it's like when I was working on poker. You can't work on something that get that deep into it and then also work on other things. I'm very
No.
much
Yeah.
one at a
Yeah,
time.
but I think that's
kinda.
fair, right?
Yeah,
at least it
I
means it
remember
gets
with
done,
poker,
yeah.
there was so many like niche little bugs as well that we had to debug when we was doing all the testing. Not looking forward to that stage. That's the
Never.
worst part of development when you're trying to figure out where you put the wrong letter, wrong number.
Wrong sign.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pain.
All right. Sortmass has a good one. I think we can wrap it up with that one. What was the hardest
yeah.
system you two worked on so far?
Um,
You can't say
The
ranch
hardest.
overall.
hardest system.
Yeah, hardest script,
Um,
hardest system, hardest
For me at the minute, it's the government menu, which I'm still working on. Hope to get it out pretty soon. It's just I'm not good at design, and I'm trying to, we're trying to figure out what goes where and what we need. And there's a lot of moving parts. We've got like templates and sections and all this different stuff that we're trying to make it very customizable for the users and the players. Quite hard.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't define anything as like hard in the sense that I struggle to
Takes
do it.
time, right?
It's always really just the things that take a lot of time to do. Like, I would like to think me and Golden are good enough that the sky's the limit of what we can actually put into the server. Excluding constraints from Redem itself. But yeah, the longer winded systems like creating poker like Golden done, or the menus, anything with UI in menus usually takes time. Because I came into Ranch not knowing we use something called Vue.js, which is like a front end framework. I didn't know a thing about it. It took me a long time to learn the niches of it. So yeah, that was probably the most difficult thing for me. But as said, it's all about how long something takes.
Yeah.
That's the stressful part, or the difficult, if you say. Our actual ability to do it is probably not hindered very much.
The Ford pickup truck.
Yeah, that was a funny
Are there
test.
any plans for more carryable props and animations to help along RP visually? I think we already talked a little bit about
Yes.
this. Yes.
Yes, there is.
It is coming. Do you guys see a business menu coming anytime soon, similar to faction menus?
Yeah, I can see the desire for that. That was always meant to be added. It just wasn't something that was deemed like it wasn't essential. It's useful to see all your employees and fire them from that menu itself instead of through the commands. But it's not never been something that's been essential. There's alternative ways to go about it.
All right. How do you? We're gonna finish up with Lemmerv. Then I'm gonna do the giveaway. How do you deal with Redem's lack of documentation? I don't know what that means, but you guys probably understand the question better.
So there's decompiled scripts, and you have to just read. So what it is, right? With Redem, you get the base game, which is the online mode of the base game, and the story mode essentially takes that and they script the story, and the developers of the story use the engine essentially, right? And the engine provides all these different functions you can use to trigger certain stuff, you know, to spawn horses, spawn people, and we get access to those same functions by CFX. And all those functions are on a nice little website right here, so you can view all those functions, but you can also view the decompiled scripts on GitHub and try and figure out what the story mode do and replicate it, because they also use these same functions.
I don't even know what I'm looking at, but that's okay. I don't need to. That's why I got you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the issue of documentation flows upstream, right? Obviously, Redem started out as a research project of like CFX figuring out how do I make a multiplayer client based on Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, they had nothing. They had no documentation from Rockstar, so they had to research and then put out in the wild whatever they found in the form of like these natives or any other guides that they put on their forums. That obviously flows down to us as developers, where we're like, okay, we can only use what either Redem themselves has provided, or we need to take Redem's position and do the research into the decompiled scripts. So it's a flow that hopefully gets resolved soon with, you know, the acquisition of Rockstar, purchasing CFX. You know, maybe one day we might just get a dump of hundreds of documentation from Rockstar. I doubt it, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a game that took 8 years to make, and then if somebody's to try and guess, you know, what everything is, without having, you know, someone tell them exactly what everything does and how they can change this and that, obviously that's going to take a long time to figure out.
Yeah, it's like a big research project. It's like a PhD, to be honest. It's like, how does this work? You play about with it, you try and implement something, you think, oh, this might work, it might not, you test it before you even get to like the final product where other people can use it. Research is a big part of Redem. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Let's do the $60 giveaway now. For priority. All right. I don't know. You guys want to count now? Do a little countdown from 10 to 0 or 5 to 0, and I'll click it.
All right. 10,
7,
9,
9,
3, 6,
4,
5,
3, 7,
3,
10,
2,
1.
1,
Go.
go.
Sino Hun. I completely butchered that, most likely.
Xenohun.
Yeah.
It is.
Completely butchered that one. Yeah. Sinohun, please feel free to DM me on the Discord. I go by the name of Rainier Valgoth. Go ahead and DM me, and I'll send you the code after we're done with this. And congratulations with the priority. And I want to wrap this up with saying again, thank you guys for being here again. It's always nice to have you guys
for
here.
teaching us a bit more than we knew.
Yeah.
Just a
How
tiny
Dev?
bit.
You're welcome.
How Dev?
How Dev?
How Dev? I do wanna hit touch on one last thing. I wanna do a public service announcement because we are booked up now for the rest of 2023, sorry, not 2024, 2023 for the podcast. Next week on the 26th, we are going to have the governor himself and someone else on talk about government, DOJ. Yes, Donovan Ellery. The week after that, on the 3rd of December, we're going to have Admin Showcase. This was an idea from Oaks himself. Where Oaks is going to run you guys through a little bit of how an admin does an average day of adminning, how to handle a player report, etc. It's gonna be Oaks teaching you guys, give you guys a little bit of an insight on why we ask the questions we do and how we follow up on it, and so you guys understand a little bit more how to ban everyone basically. So yes, Oaks will be coming. We will be starting that one a little bit late because everybody knows that Oaks is on Australian time. The week after that is the 10th of December. We're going to have character creation. It's kind of more of how to create a character and play out their story and how to evolve the character and evolve their story. On that one, we're going to have a Porter and Pesky, those two on it. Most of you in here probably already know who Porter and Pesky are. How to go all the way from being a lady to now being basically, I guess, the matriarch of a big crime family right now. After that, on the 17th of December, we're going to have mapping/world creation. We're gonna have the mapping team on here to show you guys how to do mapping. What we're going to do. So we're gonna have Maddie on here. Shally already said it. Maddie's gonna be here showing you guys, and someone else obviously. I always want them in pairs at least. That's a minimum. We're gonna have Maddie doing mapping with someone else. And then on December 30th, the week after that, we're not going to have one on the 24th because we do understand that, including myself, but a lot of people around the world celebrate Christmas on the 24th. We're not going to have anyone there. We're going to have a podcast there, so we're going to skip that one. And then on the December 30th, we have management end of year. December 30th, where we're going to say thank you for 2023. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, I don't know how it works with fireworks, but we don't. In Denmark, you can purchase your own fireworks, so don't blow off your fingers. Say thank you for 2023. Hopefully, see you in 2024. All that. This is just so you guys know what's going up. And everybody that have applied for being on the podcast, you have not been forgotten. We still have you. It's still available. You can still apply for it. You will just not be here on 2023. I'm sorry, but you will be on the podcast on 2024. And with that said, I'm gonna leave you guys to some shout outs.
Shout out to Goose.
Shout out to Goose. Yeah, shout out to Goose.
Who can I shout out?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this. I'm not good with names and stuff, man.
Oh, I don't know anyone.
Name one person. Just name anybody.
Shout out Charlie, man.
Charlie?
All right,
Yeah,
that was an easy one. Yeah, well deserved though.
No,
can I shout out a group?
you can shout out whoever you want. You can shout out the Queen of England. Rest in peace.
Okay, I shout out everyone on Ranch
Everyone.
Roleplay.
You shout out the whole Ranch
Hello,
Roleplay.
everyone. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for playing.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you who's watching
you
this.
You know who you are.
You know, yeah. All right. You guys need to help me. Who are we gonna host today? Where are we gonna send this the Ranch Roleplay raid to? Please stick around. Just for a little bit, show a little bit of support to the people. I don't know. I can't go on Discord because the Discord is busy with Douglas's pretty face right now. So I can't. You guys give me a link to a Twitch streamer, and that's who we're gonna host. I can't go on Ranch Roleplay Discord. Look at the top, see who's streaming. Let me know who you guys think we should raid, and we'll raid them.
Have we done Agent North?
We haven't done AJ North yet. No, we've done Floaty Trade. We've done
Still Agent
Kush. Agent is he streaming?
Says he is. Oh, yeah. Let's have a look. Hang on.
Have we raided Uncle Albert yet?
Yeah.
I cannot remember. Have we?
Is that the creepy guy?
You
he's
know
the-
what? If we can't
You know what,
remember, then it
I
means
have a
no.
thing for creepy guys. Sorry, no. Creepy role players.
Yeah, I guess that's
Sorry.
okay actually.
Uncle Albert. Yeah.
But you guys have to put in a Twitch
Okay.
a link in the chat because I cannot I can't click anything. You might see some.
All right.
The
All right,
world
so we're gonna do
one's
The World Is
yours.
All
All right,
we'll do
attack
Uncle
everyone.
Albert.
Attack.
Grab your axes.
All right, we'll
And
do
your
pitchforks.
cowboy hats.
Uncle Albert's legit. All right, let me put this on. The world is yours. Here we go.
Oh,
Alright, so we got 1 minute
that
now.
guy.
You guys want 1 minute to say, let me turn off the Nightbot now that we're not doing giveaway anymore, so you guys can spam. Absolutely just he did the Flea Show. The Flea Show, I heard great things about the Flea Show.
Join the raid. Join the raid. Join the raid.
Yeah,
Join the raid.
Don't be. No. Again, I want to personally thank you guys for being here.
Yes,
I've learned
thank
a
you.
lot. Yeah. It's always nice to have people come in and support not only the podcast, but support Dip's master thesis. And yeah, now, enlightening people.
Support Dip Strip.
Dip Strip. Yep.
Most importantly. Yeah, not today. I was thinking about it.
I mean, you
Just
got
for you.
about 20 seconds to show off your socks if you want to do that. Before
mean,
the
I
auto
was-
raids.
I do have Tripolovsky actually, but it's only the pants one.
Well, you gotta be quick, man. You gotta be quick showing off them socks.
I got
Show the
popsicles on.
pants.
What's
You see?
the Dipalicious
Oh.
sign is in the way. We can't really see. You gotta lift up higher, dude. There we
I'm
go.
not that
Okay,
flexible.
goodbye.
What's that?
Goodbye.
Pink
thank
burgers.
you.
Goodbye. 10
ya.
seconds.
No,
9.
it's popsicles.
Nice
It's
socks,
popsicles.
noob.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. 3, 2, 1. See you guys. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Whoa.